Hey there everybody, today I'm going to be showing you all my custom LEGO Mixels Series 13. Now there are three unique tribes here, two of those being cousins tribes. I know some of you guys would much rather see unique tribes, but I had some great ideas, or at least I believe they were great ideas, for some of the cousins tribes here. We have the Spikesels cousins, the Orbitons cousins, and the Toxels back here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our first tribe, that being the Orbitons cousins. Orbitons cousins tribe is this guy right here, this being Orbids, or Orbit, however you would like to pronounce his name. As you guys can see here, he takes somewhat of an alien approach to the Orbitons, and he's got his little tongue up in there. He's very much so tiled off whenever it comes to his body. He's got his little brain up in here, and you can pop open the top and see he has a big old slab of a brain in there. And you can put his little helmet back on. He's got some little eye covers there with his little rounded eyes. He's got some little guns going on, some little ray guns, and some big old booted up feet that he can go off and use to combat other Mixels or some Nixels if he comes across them. Now, he has a buddy, that being this little guy here. He is one of the most intelligent Mixels, or at least that would be in my little headcanon. You can see he's got a bit of a satellite going on here. Now, this guy's name is Rover, obviously based off of a lunar rover where he could go off and drive around. And I think this little dude should be one of the smarter Mixels of the bunch. He does not take a whole lot of parts. He's almost snail-esque in his little way that he is built. He's got two tiny itsy-bitsy little wheels, kind of like Gobble. And then he's got two actual rubber tires going on there. And then the final member of the bunch is Nassar. This guy here, his name is a play on words of the word NASA. And I just want to give him a little bit of he's got a look to him. He has a nice little tuft of hair going on up here, and he's got himself a gold chain. I think he looks cool. I also gave him like a little gold chain sticking off of his leg here. Kind of go off and almost mimic the chained wallet, somewhat-esque look of I don't know. I almost went for a somewhat rapper take on this guy. I wanted him to look very much so like he's got a personality. I think he would be a very fun Mixel to go off and just play around with some of these parts. But yeah, so these are the Orbitons cousins. Let me know what you all think of these guys down in the comments below. Anyway, let's move on to the Spikesels cousins. Here is Spider. Now, obviously, this guy is, he's kind of obviously got the color scheme of like a desert spider. He's got some little pincer-like dealies going on there, like little arms or so. And he's got some big old long legs. I was kind of thinking more of a like desert tarantula, but I didn't want to put a million legs on him. So I just gave him some really long ones and some little arms up top. And obviously he's got a hinged mouth that can open and close, and his little arms come with him. So yeah, I think this guy is pretty neat. And then we will move on to his brethren, that being, his name is Slicer. Obviously, that sounds somewhat like the word slicer, or slider, if you will. This guy has a little bit of a mace tail going on here, so he can obviously, spin in circles and hit some Mixels or Nixels out of the way. He's got some big old wings with some nice little pointed bits on the ends, so that way he can go off and fly by and give a nice deep slash to whoever he pleases. He's got a hinged mouth with a little tongue sitting up in there, and he's got some nice little buck teeth, as well as a couple little sharp teeth down on the bottom. His tail is hinged, so it can go in several different ways. It was based off of Scorpy's tail from Series 3, and I honestly think this guy is definitely my favorite of this tribe. And then we'll move on to the last member here, that being, I like to call him Pine, which, I mean, you could take as like a pine tree or a porcupine, or you could say it's a play on the word pain. But either way, this guy has a million little sharp thorns all over him. I was thinking a porcupine whenever I went off and named him that. And obviously, that comes over to his design. He's got some big old fingers, which actually I decided not to give him fingernails as to opt for. Instead of having those, he has these somewhat like dual claws, where he has a little sharp nail on the back of his hands, which can actually slide forward, like whenever he's in combat or something. And he can go off and like have those in, have those out whenever he wants. And then he's got a ton all over his back here. So obviously this guy could like roll himself into a little ball and throw himself at the enemy if he wanted. And he's got just a little sploof of hair up top with some little blades up here. This guy's mouth cannot hinge open, but he does have a red tongue in the back there. It's kind of hard to tell, but I can assure you, let me just take this little mouthpiece off here. It is in there 100%. I wanted to give him mouth detailing. I don't know why. I always try to emphasize that with Mixels. But yeah, so these are the Spikesels cousins. And yeah, that was the last member. Now moving on to the Toxels. The first member of the Toxels tribe is Steinch. Now, Steinch is a play on the word stench. Obviously, it's pretty much just spelled the same, but, you know, it's pronounced differently. He's got one big O arm that he can go off and use to claw or swing at Mixels and or other Nixels. And he can go off and he has this little arm here, kind of like a crater setup. This guy is well-rounded. He's got himself some nice set feet here with some green transparent bricks all over the place. And he's got a hinged jaw that he can go off and bite down whenever he pleases. He uses Tortz's little starfish pieces there for his little eyes, and it is a heck of a Mixel whenever all these features come together. And then we have our boy Fox here, and obviously this guy has more of the little transparent pieces all over the place, a big old belly, and this guy is just a well-rounded Mixel there. And then we have Vinox. Now this guy is wild looking. He's got eyes all over the place, some well set feet, a little tail, and some fangs. Thank you guys so very much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.